What's up, fam? Welcome back to Live Like Low. Today we are getting a channel message from the Galactic Federation. Now, this was like a quick message that they wanted to put out, so we are going to be dropping it today. Now, look, I was going to be doing this live, but something is going on with my little stand, so we're doing it and I'm going to be posting it. Put down in the comments any questions you have for the Galactic Council so that I can accrue your questions for our first monthly Q&A. If I get no questions, we won't be doing a Q&A because we'll have no questions, okay? So I'm going to pull them in and see what they have for us, and we're going to get started, okay? So the first thing that they want to talk about is the topic that they want to talk about is moving in the right direction. How do you know that you're moving in the right direction? And how to change direction if you feel like you are going in the wrong direction, et cetera, et cetera. You kind of need to understand the idea that all things are happening as they should be for the timeline, or in quote, the trajectory in which you are going forward. So if you have a certain thought pattern, if you have a certain belief system, if you have a certain way of moving, doing, and being, then you're going to continue to create that reality in the forward motion. Okay? You are literally deciding what you want to do each step, each moment, each second, each minute, each and every single feeling, thought, etc., right? The point is that Source created us through the perception of thought, and therefore created himself through the action, through the feeling of wanting to know more about itself, right? And so the more that we think, the more that we feel, the more that we take action, okay? In any way, through any type of thought structure, through any type of mindset, we are creating our reality. Now that we've kind of gotten that out the way, you know, guys, I'm always talking about this, but the council wants you to understand that this concept is not at face value, that this concept deals with a lot of other things. So when you're looking at these concepts and you're looking deeper within yourself and you're wondering, why do these things from the past keep coming up? Why do I keep meeting people? Why do I keep going through the same cycles over and over again? Why am I experiencing lack? Why am I experiencing booms of money and then quick booms of downfall? What is with the financial roller coaster, et cetera, et cetera? Well, you have to go back. You have to go and look back at your childhood, but not physically go back there. Do you know what I'm saying? Take yourself emotionally, mentally back to that place. How did you feel? What did you think, right? And how are you recreating that environment in the now moment? Now, even though, you know what I'm saying, we create things like, say, for example, you, when you were a kid, your parents were in the military, so you moved from place to place to place to place. That means that you didn't have a stable structure of of community, right? So your community changed every few months. And so you weren't able to create lasting friendships or, you know, get to a place where you feel comfortable in a school or something like that. But your family structure may have been the most stable thing in your life. So then when you go to college, you have a hard time connecting with other people, but you have a really strong bond with your family. So it makes it hard for you to get out and be an active adult, right? A lot of things that happen in our lives recreate themselves. So if you have a hard time moving from this point to this point, the first thing, guys, let me switch hands. The first thing that you want to do is figure out where it's coming from, because the first thing you need to do is heal that negative place. Once you move away from the healing, that it's no longer existence within your energy field, within your vortex, etc. Move away from the thought pattern, right? Stop thinking about it, stop feeling it, move away from it, stop giving it attention. And it almost feels like you're ignoring something that you should be paying attention to. But the point of this exercise is for you to work through it and then leave it behind. Okay, so if there's something happening, you had a father wound, you healed that, you went through months or years of healing to get rid of that. Why would you put yourself back in that past self and recreate that environment to recreate a lesson that you've already learned? That doesn't make sense. What you need to do is understand the lesson, understand what you learned, apply your wisdom, and move on going forward. Where you apply and understand, that's all you need to know from that lesson. Don't bring the lesson back just to prove to yourself that you can, right? Because the lesson itself will always cyclically come back. The question is, did you swerve it or did you fall in? And if you fall in, is there a way for you to get out of it now? There always is, by the way. So they want you to kind of pay attention to your actions. Now, for those of you who are trying to go in the right direction, where it comes more about purpose, about figuring out the version of you that you want to be, understand that every single decision that you make throughout a given day, that decision is coming from inside, but it's also moving you dimensionally. If you guys watched my shadow work series, when we talk about densities, right? You're moving timelines in your density to the right version of yourself in which you can climb up to be the version that you wish to be. And each time that you shift, you have more access to grow. Well, we do micro shifts each day. Every little thing that you do switches you in and out of the previous or a different self. The point is that you focus yourself going forward. You focus yourself on the ideal version that you want to be, and then you be that. Not I'm working to be that the best you can. You may not be perfect yet because you're not good at being this other self, because this other self may have skills, they may have habits that you've yet to acquire. But the point is to start doing them now. Start doing them now. Start creating the habits. Start creating the thought patterns. Start creating the emotional responses. Start creating the place where you don't react and you take time to respond and get your thoughts together, get your words together, and say what you mean to say. Take your time. And during this time in my life, I'm going through a really huge shift where I am seeing that for myself. And it's time that you guys get the same information, right? A few of you are having money issues, and Spirit says the money is not the problem. You are the problem. Deep inside, you need to understand that you're holding some type of thought pattern of scarcity. Something that says, I won't be provided for. It's not safe to have money. It's not safe to blah, 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 right? And whatever those things are. So if you have no problem getting money, but you have a hard problem keeping some type of income stream, whether that's a job or whatever, then your strategy isn't exactly on on the money itself. Your strategy would be, it is safe for me to have a income stream that is stable, that I love, and that I feel fulfilled by. Maybe you looked around when you were growing up and saw people unfulfilled and unhappy, and you said to yourself, I'll never have a job like that. And because of that, you also keep in your mind, I'll never have a job. I never want to work for somebody. So you might want to go into entrepreneurship or just heal that wound and move forward with the career that you've already started, if that's something that you want to do. You always want to go back and see what is the belief. Once you understand the belief, you can remove it, and then you will stop attracting it, and then you will be able to create something new and something different. Um, the council is, they are bringing forth an aspect. This aspect has to do with the mind. And you have to understand that your mind is fragile. When traumatizing things happen, the mind becomes wounded, therefore, the self becomes wounded. Okay? When the self becomes wounded, then the mind and the subconscious will start to instruct the body on how to protect itself. What you have to learn how to do is be the captain of your body. Be the captain of your body, and not just the physical body, but its energetic properties as well. You need to be able to get up and do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel about it in the moment. I'm going to give you an example, right? If you know that you're trying to create a certain reality for yourself, and there's certain people or habits that you have that are preventing you from reaching that goal, that will prevent you from going any further, the first thing that you need to do is either cut that person off or work on yourself extensively. Once you've done that, the next step will be available and you get that done. Does that mean that your emotions don't matter? Absolutely not. Your emotions do matter. But for you to sit in a place of stillness and stuckness and not take action on what you know is actionable, it won't get done. It won't get done. And nobody wants to hear that for real. But that's what happens. It just won't get done. And then it doesn't feel good to be on the other side of something not getting done. Because you want it to be great and you want things to go the way you want them, and you want to grow and you want to be this ultimate version of yourself. 1111 on my clock. But you are not broke or broken. Okay? This life is like a boot camp. So you gotta pull your shit up. You gotta cry. You gotta let the snot run. You gotta spit. You gotta throw up, but you gotta keep going, right? If you gotta sit down and rest, do it, but you gotta get up because it don't stop. And the last thing that you need to understand is where your focus goes is what you create. Where your focus goes is the trajectory in which you will go. If you feel like you are not on the right path right now in this moment, your focus is in the wrong direction. Your actions, the way that you respond to people, the way that you deny opportunities or accept opportunities that aren't in alignment with you. Do not allow your unpointed focus to create your reality. Get to a place where you can align both your mind, those thoughts in there, your feelings, those emotions in there, and your mouth and your action all together into one settle focused point. And then set your intention and be about your fucking business. Do you understand me? Don't allow anybody to come in and distract you or suggest things that are not within your understanding of how you want to move, unless you know it will help you achieve that goal. Anything else is a distraction. And with distractions, what do? We ignore them. For distractions are only meant to be put there to slow you down, to stop you, to make you focus on the wrong thing, therefore creating resistance. If you don't want resistance, don't create resistance. Keep your mind focused. When you find that you're off kilter, rock that bitch back in balance and let's move on, right? It's not a hard concept. It's just, it can be difficult to apply. Trust me, I know. So I hope that this video resonates. What do you mean? You're like, we're not done. Okay, what else did you want to say? They also want you to understand that in order for you for some of you, your dreams are very, very big. So you have big dreams, but your current place does not show you those dreams. So if you are that person who has big dreams, but your current reality is not reflecting any sort of way those dreams to you, you need to elevate your vibration in order to access those versions of you in those higher realms, or that are on that frequency of a higher realm, but still in a timeline, if that makes sense. So what you're trying to do is shift into that version of you that has access to it. Now, how do you do that? How do you raise your vibration? Raising your vibration is more about being in the resonance of unconditional love, more of being able to be more compassionate to people and yourself, being able to set boundaries, being able to love on yourself and love on other people, being grateful as much as you fucking possibly can about anything, even the bad shit, just grateful for everything, right? Once you're able to see the unconditional love of the universe in all things, and you're able to operate in that way, you'll raise your vibration. And with each raise, you'll have to apply your unconditional love to something else again and again and again. Okay? It's not a one fix, it's not like a one all fix or anything like that. It's continuous, just like life. But this is going to help you get up to that next level. Anything else here? They also want to talk about personal preference. Your personal preference is good. And you need to understand that having a preference is not a bad thing. The point of you having a personal preference is so that you know what you do not want. Okay? You know what you do not want, you know what you do want. If you continue to allow yourself to be in a place of not having a preference, right? Then you will not have a preference on when, where, how, or even if a manifestation will come in, because your preference decides the specificity of anything. To some of you do need to go and adjust your preferences. Some of you have preferences that don't align with your long-term values or your long-term self, and that's why you're creating negativity. Others of you are doing fine but need to develop better or more precise perspectives. So they're giving me the analogy, like I love Japanese food and I love Southern food because I'm a Southerner, right? And so when I'm like, okay, when I cook, when I crave certain things, I also crave it in my own personal taste palette. So what does that mean? That means that sometimes I crave ramen, but I crave it with a southern flair. So when I cook that ramen, it doesn't taste like authentic Japanese ramen. It tastes like Japanese ramen with a southern flair. I'm not going to add the same greens. I'm not going to add the same vegetables that go inside a traditional ramen. I'm going to add things that I personally like that make me feel the feeling of home with the umami that I like within Japanese cuisine. Does that make sense? It's like I have created a completely new dish and a completely different way of making that food because of my own personal preference. And Spirit wants you to understand that you're creating your own bowl of ramen. You're creating your own reality so that it suits your perfect you. You right now. And each past version of you did so to create the you right now. So pay attention to what you're doing, saying, and being, and pay attention to where you're putting your energy. Is there anything else you would like to say? All right, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. They said they're done. So I love you guys. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I'm sorry this is just like a run and gun today, but I wanted to get this message out, and I've kind of just been chilling for the most part when it comes to posting videos. I have a lot of stuff that I'm working on, and you know, you guys will get a new batch of things coming soon. But right now, I just kind of need to relax through this transition and recuperate. I love you guys so, 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 so much, okay? And I hope that you continue to elevate, you continue to improve, you continue to take that next step and rise above your current emanation into the next. I love you. Bye.